What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Anthony Joshua. Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn says that Andy Ruiz, Dillian Whyte, and Luis Ortiz are options for Anthony Joshua, not just Oleksandr Usyk. Now, Eddie states that Ruiz, the only man to beat AJ, has even contacted Hearn about a possible trilogy fight. Following the collapse of eagerly anticipated Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, which appeared so close, speculations have been rife in the heavyweight division on what Joshua does next. Fury, of course, has been forced into a trilogy fight with Wilder, as we know that. But with Eddie Hearn, he says that Andy Ruiz Instagrammed me stating that he wants to be an option for the fight. He says Luis Ortiz is another guy that you could fight, and if you're in the UK, you can always pick Dillian Whyte. Bars. So, in an ideal world, he said, if there's good business to be made with Oleksandr Usyk, then that's the next fight. I wouldn't rule out any scenario at the moment for Anthony Joshua. Those are the words of Eddie Hearn. Now, let me counterpunch. Cut to the chase. If he doesn't fight Oleksandr Usyk, he's going to get stripped. If he does still care about a undisputed fight, he would fight Oleksandr Usyk. Dillian Whyte is on the WBC's neck, and Luis Ortiz is dangerous for anybody that will fight that guy, regardless of his age. So, I mean, if those are the two guys that he's considering, Andy Ruiz wants a trilogy fight, and that's a whole nother story. But Luis Ortiz and Dillian Whyte, yeah, they're two top competitors. I look at those guys, they both have a couple losses apiece. But at the end of the day, I think that Anthony Joshua should stick to his itinerary. If he's always been known to take on his mandatory. So why should he change now? See, Eddie Hearn has these ambitious ideas, I feel, and at times they're kind of catchy, but I think you don't want to sway too far off the beaten path with fighting guys like Luis Ortiz, which I would love to see, by the way, because I think Luis Ortiz was shitted on his opportunity to fight Anthony Joshua by his own management company, because they were holding him in a persecution box holding cell for Deontay Wilder. That's what I believe. And then, he got his fight, but, I don't know if he got the money that they said he was going to get, just due to how poor that fight done, for one, and for two, how eagerly he tried to get back into the ring and fight somebody else. That might just be his fighting spirit. Hopefully that is the case. But he was screwed out of a massive amount of money from Anthony Joshua to fight him in Madison Square Garden, which would have been huge, which would have been massive. That would have been the pinnacle. You imagine someone fighting Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. That's big. Win, lose, or draw, he could always say, hey, he could tell his grandkids, like, hey, I fought the best guys in my era. I fought the two champs. You know what I mean? And I gave them a good run for their money. You know what I'm saying? So that could always be good for Ortiz, which is Dillian Whyte. If we talk about Dillian is the interim WBC. So he's waiting on whoever gets that strap. So he will always be the back burner kind of guy, so to speak. If Joshua wants to fight him again, which I don't think he would be interested, because if he wasn't interested like a couple years ago, why would he be interested now? Counterpunch. You know what I mean? Because when Dillian Whyte knocked out Derek Chisora, Dillian Whyte wanted that throwdown and showdown with Anthony Joshua. And Joshua was like, well, hey, if you guys want me to fight him, don't get pissed off when I do pick him or whatever. But there's other guys that I want to fight. So there you go. Now, with Andy Ruiz, okay, Andy Ruiz would say that because, he's had his pound of flesh. He got surprised early by Mr. Areola. So, Mr. Areola gave him his, broke him in properly back into the heavyweight sport of boxing, right? So he would ask for a trilogy fight because I guess Andy Ruiz is looking at it like, hey, I get another payday. I'm really getting used to that money, honestly, because, you know, from 19 and then 20 was a big layoff. Now 21, it would be great for him. Have a fight with Areola on Fox, then come back to the zone. I think Andy Ruiz really loves the zone, and I know he really loves those the zone checks, right? Before a trilogy fight, that would be good for Joshua if he's going to come to the States, which would be great. You know what I mean? And I think it would have to be in the States at this point. I think you should return to the beginning, you know, and fight someone like Andy Ruiz. And I think Andy Ruiz would at least give a bigger effort, you know, like versus what he did before in Saudi Arabia, coming in at 300 pounds. I think he would definitely give a, you know, a better effort. But I think that, you know, Andy Ruiz thinking like, hey, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder had a trilogy fight. But then Andy Ruiz, you know, wants his trilogy fight with Anthony Joshua. Why not? They did it. You know, the only difference is they did it back to back. So they got it in and out. But as far as, you know, Andy Ruiz goes, you know, he's another guy. But I just can't imagine him picking any of those guys over Usyk. It just wouldn't make sense. Because, see, even if he didn't fight Usyk, okay, he loses the WBO belt. That leaves him with the WBA and the WBO. He's still unified. But if Tyson Fury does trump Wilder again, I mean, and then he's like, okay, let's do it. Well, what would you have then? You would have a unification fight, but it wouldn't mean the whole thing. It ain't for all the puzzle pieces. So I don't think it would be a smart idea for Eddie Hearn to sway away from Oleksandr Usyk. My guess, Eddie Hearn, what he's trying to do is he's trying to show Oleksandr Usyk that asked for that big purse that, hey, we got other options out there. So, hey, you better watch out because we don't have to pay you what you're demanding just because you're mandatory. That's the only thing that I can think Eddie Hearn is doing strategy-wise. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Eddie Hearn saying that Andy Ruiz, Dillian Whyte, and Luis Ortiz are options also. Tell me what you think. Please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace. By the way, I will make a poll to this also. So I'm going to make this video, post this video under the poll. Guys, please vote, and I'll see you then. Peace.